Hey, percussion. So we have a couple of new percussionists in 7th grade, and we have several new percussionists in 6th grade, and the rest of you have been around and probably familiar with all this. And I don't have much I have to tell you, but there were a couple of points that I always tell the kids, and I'm worried that they don't quite translate it back to the parents well enough. Or tell you at all. So I thought I would share some of the kind of basic what equipment am I supposed to have kind of things that we talk about. And generally there's no problems, but every once in a while people get confused or they buy something and then it turns out that it's something they can't use and they get upset. So I just want to make sure that, especially for you new folks, that we're all kind of on the same page. So as a percussionist, they need 3 things in their possession. They need a practice pad that they can bring to school and use in class every day. Most of my percussionists bring a practice pad to school and leave it here, and it lives in their slot, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, I tell kids, if you want to make your life as easy as possible, own 2 practice pads. Have one that's here at school and then have another one at home. Or some of them leave their practice pad here and then they have a drum that you have purchased for them that they practice on at home. They just use their snare drum at home. Also perfectly fine. Much louder for you to listen to, but that's up to you and them. So they never need to bring their snare drum to school. That can live at home. We just need them to have the practice pad here to play on. What kind of practice pad doesn't matter. Everyone that's brought one in, it's been appropriate and fine. We don't need the stand, we just need the practice pad. Sticks do matter what you buy, and sometimes sticks wear out, or they lose sticks, or they want to buy another pair of sticks so that they can leave one at school and have one set at home. Sticks really do matter. There's a million of them, and they're all for different purposes, and they some of which are highly inappropriate for middle school, and several of which are great. So if you're not sure what to buy, the easy one to recommend is the Vic Firth SD1 General. All right, Vic Firth, that's what the picture looks like, has a little flag on it. It says SD1 General. Those are great. 5Bs are also appropriate, is another model. The reason it matters is every stick model comes in different material, like the kind of wood it uses, which makes it different weights, and the thickness is different, like actually how thick the stick is different, how long the stick is different, and then the tip is different. So this one has a nice round tip. They also come in kind of teardrop shaped tips, and then they also come in instead of wood like this one, there's nylon tips. So anything close to this is going to be fine for school, but there's reasons why these are better than others. So the round tip is the 100% preferred, but if you happen to have a teardrop shaped tip, that's okay. If you happen to have a nylon tip, which you'll know it's nylon because it'll be white and looks like plastic. It's not plastic, it's nylon. That's also okay, no problems there. When we run into problems is if people buy either one colored sticks, so they've been painted a fun color, black, pink, blue, American flag colors, I don't know. If they buy a painted stick, that's also okay. I'm really not picky as long as the tip itself is wood or the normal white nylon colors. Because if there's paint on the tip, that means there's going to be paint on our instruments. And that might be okay for you and your drums at home and whatever you bought them, but that's not okay for us here at school. So every once in a while one sneaks by and all of a sudden the next thing you know there's a bunch of red paint marks all over the snare drums. So we don't want that. So normal wood color or the white nylon tip is preferred. The other problem that occurs is students pick their sticks based on what they think looks cool, and they'll pick one that is wildly inappropriate, like a stick that's twice as thick as this, twice as heavy, and has this giant tip on it right here that they think is fun to look at because it's for marching band or some other activity that requires a very large stick. And they will never be able to get the right sound out of the instruments, and they won't be able to play with the right technique because they just can't handle that size of a stick here in middle school. So if you're going to buy them a new stick, I would stick with Vic Firth SD1 Generals or something very similar, so it doesn't cause them problems with sounding their best in school. All right, so practice pad, sticks, and then a bell kit. They should have a bell kit, all right? So if they started percussion in elementary school, like they all have, they should have a bell kit at home, which they will need. Do not return it or get rid of it. They should be practicing on that. Okay, and my first video about grades and practicing, I said kids really, it's up to them how much they practice. I have yet to meet a percussionist that can get away without really practicing bells. And if they don't practice, it takes them a very long time to get comfortable on mallets, and they really struggle, and it stresses them out a lot. So a lot of them will try to shy away from mallets. They'll just want to practice their drum, and they won't play their mallet stuff, and then it's a big stress ball when they're here in school, because if they don't practice it and they can't do it, that doesn't mean we're not going to expect them to do it. We're going to keep working, and we're just going to work more on it. So moral of the story, encourage your student, if they're not going to practice anything else, work on their mallet stuff. Okay, practice mallets, get better at reading mallet music. Okay, the better they are at reading the music, the faster they can play the songs. When we give them songs here in school, the more fun they have, because instead of sitting there trying to figure out letter names, they're actually able to play the songs with everybody else, and it's a lot more fun. 7th and 8th graders this year in particular, so far we were short a couple books, so I wasn't able to give everybody their own book to take home. But as I told the students, they're more than welcome to take a book whenever they want. They just can't leave it at home. They have to bring it back to school the next day. So they can take a book home and work on the songs in the mallet section of the book, whatever we're working on, and then come back and drop the book off in the morning so we have it for all the classes that we need. That is more than acceptable. So I encourage it. I encourage them to be practicing their mallet stuff at home. Don't shy away from the mallet stuff. Okay, but that's pretty much it for percussion. It's pretty straightforward. So to recap, practice your mallets, or make them practice their mallets. And then if you want to make their lives a little easier, provide them with 2 sets of drumsticks and 2 practice pads. 1 set that they can leave at school and 1 set that they can leave at home, so that they can not have to worry about carrying stuff back and forth. If they did that, they literally would have to carry nothing back and forth except perhaps a book or their music that they're going to practice. All right, that's it.